Oh, hello everyone. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Oh. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? I was planning on being live just a touch earlier, but I've had some issues with my my microphone, my arm. So yeah, I've been trying to sort that out for the last 10 minutes. So I'm currently holding this in my hand. Not ideal, but we're live. We're live. So yes, welcome everyone. I hope you're good. It's Friday. I got myself a beer. Happy days. Hungarian GP weekend is up and running. Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it for FP1, guys. Yeah, hope you're all good. I couldn't do FP1 because of obviously being at work, but we are up and running for FP2, and yeah, it's going to be interesting this weekend. So I saw obviously a number of drivers run the soft, the soft tyre. Lewis Hamilton didn't, which was interesting. So yeah. Hey Damon, good. Yeah, Chris, good to see you. Well, very well, thank you. I'm surprised the timers are working considering. I know. Well, did you see Mercedes? They they've got the blue screen of death on the pit wall. So, yeah, not ideal. Obviously, CrowdStrike is one of their big sponsors as well. But slightly different setup on stream at the moment, as you can see, because the awkwardness of the layout of the Hungaroring. So for some reason, it's showing it vertically, not horizontally. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. I can't spin it round, which is very unfortunate. Something that multi-viewer should incorporate, but yeah. But who thinks who is going to win this weekend? Who do you think is going to win this weekend? That's the right question, isn't it? That is the right question to ask, not the other. Not. 27,400 subs. Thank you, whoever was the 400 got that to 400 there. Much appreciated. But I'm expecting big things this weekend from Mercedes. So the Mercedes team have only brought one update for this weekend to the rear of the car. Red Bull, of course, have a big upgrade package or update package. Aston Martin also have 8 updates to their car. Stake F1 have 9 updates to this car. Lewis Hamilton, of course, has won here 8 times. So I think it's the second most successful place he's raced at. Was joint first with Silverstone, but of course that changed, didn't it, last time around? So, hey Horse, much love from Oz. What time is it in Oz? What time is it? It must be early for you. You're committed. You're very committed up at this time. Got to be, what, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. for you guys over in Oz, depending which side you are. Blue screen of death meant I could leave work at 11. Really, Dan? Wow. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I had a quiet Friday. I had a pretty quiet Friday, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, how typical is it that Teams was the only thing, one of the only things that wasn't affected? Unbelievable. Although my missus is a PA, and she was like, I'm so glad actually that Teams wasn't affected, because she would have had to spend the whole day rearranging meetings for next week. So, but yeah, no, I didn't get. I had I work in construction, so our drawing software and like our intranet thing shut down. But other than that, yeah, we was okay. So, hey, Rishan, Norris because of the heats. Oh, really? Yes, it's very. Supposedly, FP1 was 60 degrees track temperature, guys. 60 degrees. Jesus, that's very hot. Very hot. Who do I think will win? I'm going to back Lewis Hamilton again, guys. I am. And the reason I say that is because I think it's going to be like London buses. You wait for a win, wait for a bust for ages, and then 2 come at the same time. Or in Hamilton's sense, 2 come in quick succession. So I think, yeah, I think he's going to be up there. I think the Mercedes are going to be strong here. You think in previous years, depending on the conditions, I think. But Mercedes in the 2 of the past 3 years have put it on pole position in subpar cars. And now their car is arguably performing much better. So 1:05 a.m. Gold Coast. Oh, no, not too early in the morning, but still committed, although it is Friday. So, how am I getting on with my new toys? Yes, really well. So if you guys don't know, we have a new partner of the channel. Now, for some of you who aren't familiar with sim racing and the sim racing world, we have partnered up with Virtual Racing School, VRS. So, yeah, very prominent in the sim racing world. They are partnered up with Romain Grosjean, Lindsay Brewer, some real-life drivers, some prominent sim racers as well, and their equipment is top-notch. So we've partnered up with those, and we have brand new equipment, high-end equipment on the rig, and we've been getting to grips with it. And you may have seen some of the videos on the channel, and it's been amazing. It's we put it for its paces last night properly in a 100% F1 race actually at this very circuit, and was very surprised with my performance, pleasantly surprised. So cheers for shout. No worries, Hosk. Back in Piastri for this one. My only issue with Piastri is that Piastri, as we know, he has a bit of a weakness in his tyre management, and Hungary has always been known, it's always been a circuit where you either commit to that 2 stop or you try and go for the lengthy 1 stop, but you really have to look after your tyres. And this circuit is very hard on the front left. Of course, you have to manage the rears also. But I see Piastri doing well in qualifying. Don't see him doing so well in the race. I think it'll be kind of best of the rest for Piastri, outside of probably Russell, Hamilton, Norris and Verstappen. And I think Piastri will pick up the rest of the pieces. He still needs to improve on his tyre management, really. So circuits where the tyre management isn't too key, we see Piastri come up to the forefront. But yeah, unless there's rain, where tyre management isn't too much of a factor, which is very possible with the weather we've had here already throughout the week in Hungary. If you haven't seen it, kind of like big floods. So yeah, he needs to improve on that area first. That's definitely where Norris has the better of him at the moment. Hopefully he changed the spring on the pedals. I did, Aaron. Straight to the red one. Perfect. Perfect. That is a bold call and you approve, Carl. I mean, I really highly rate Piastri. But yeah, it's definitely an area that he needs to improve on. But, look, F1 now these days, the tyres are very difficult to get to grips with. It takes a good few years, I think, for drivers to become accustomed to managing these tyres in a race. I think Norris has even been the same. I mean, this is what, his 5th, 6th year in F1 already. It seems crazy to say that, but it took him a while to get accustomed to the tyres. You look at Yuki, it's taken Yuki accustomed to actually like sort his own racing style out as well. So I think Piastri will be the same. And look, he's got the raw pace there. He's even with that issue, he's still finishing in the top 5, unlike a certain Mexican driver. Just saying, guys. Afternoon, Graham. Afternoon. I'm all good, buddy. All good. It's the weekend. I've got my beer. Well, nearly finished my beer. So, have I seen the new Red Bull side pod? I haven't paid too much attention to the look of it, to be honest. I don't think is it too dramatic in look? Is it very different to what it was previously? I'm into my tech, but not that much into my tech, really. So, iRacing still isn't live. My commentary for this evening's now been cancelled. So if iRacing comes online later on, I'll probably do the F1 race. So a shame, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. Hey Bogani, South Africa. Hey, Maxwell Winrab. Very likely it could do. Yeah, he could do. He's always gone well here. I think, as we keep saying every race weekend, we have now got, we're going into every race weekend not really knowing who's going to be the fastest, who's going to come out on top. Now, it's a bit of a shame that, of course, Max was, I say dominant, he was still dominant in the early stages of the season. So, the early stages of the season meant that, look, he's got obviously a kind of an unassailable lead. He's got, what, over 81 point lead now or something? So that's 3 race wins in hand he's got. So, yeah. And no one is really... There's no one single driver dominating the races. So that means that at this stage of the season where Max has won 6 races already out of the 12 we've had, he's obviously got that lead. So, yep, hopefully it will happen tomorrow. Yeah, it's a shame because, I mean, if it happens tomorrow, James, I unfortunately won't be able to commentate. But, yeah, it's not... Look, they're struggling, aren't they, to get it back on. There are no doubt they are pushing to get it back on because the Spa 24 Hours is this weekend, isn't it? So, and I think the first split starts at 11 UK time. So, feels like only 2 of the top 10 may have a chance, to be honest. You think? Who do you think? The only 2 out of the top 10, Hosk? I'm intrigued to hear who you think. Do you think Norris and Verstappen, do you? See, I disagree with that. I think the Mercs are going to be there. I mean, look, let's look at lap times at the moment. Piastri's out there on hards. Everyone's kind. This is really the session where we're going to see the long runs, which is no doubt what they'll be doing now, and then maybe at the end of FP2 this session we'll see some quali runs, because it's similar-ish time to what the qualifying is going to be happening tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But the 2 Red Bulls are first and second. Of course, Perez needs to pull his finger out, doesn't he? There's been lots of talk about him potentially losing his seat over the summer. He's come out and said he's confident that, well, I've got a contract. We all know that's bullshit. Contracts mean absolutely nothing. And there'll be clauses in place and mechanisms in place for Red Bull to get rid of him if they want to. But yeah, Yuki has come out and said, oh, if it's Liam Lawson who gets a seat, it doesn't make sense. And I do agree with that. I think Lawson should be an F1, but I don't think he should be jumping straight to the Red Bull. So, watching from India. Hey, Emil. Thank you, buddy. Aditya, Perez was top of the timesheet. I know. Shame, nothing they can do. Not their issue. No, look, this is a worldwide issue that everyone's been affected by. Well, the majority of businesses have been affected by. So, yeah, iRacing just happens to be... I think they've solved the initial issue of CrowdStrike, but then they've had some knock-on effect, which they're struggling with, so... Who do I think could DNF? Well, whenever Logan Sargent starts a race... I'm sorry, Logie Bear fans. I'm sorry. Hamilton and maybe Verstappen, but you're thinking Norris. Phil Norris is going to struggle. Max is doing good. I don't know. Well, look, it's interesting that the 2 McLarens are the only drivers out there on the set of hards. So I don't know really what the strat is. I mean, look, Red Bull, if it's dry here at the Hungaroring, it's generally always a 2-stop race or a 1-stop. People can try and force that 1-stop. Try and go for that 1-stop, or they can go for the 2-stop. Remember those years ago where Hamilton chased down Verstappen? And I think Verstappen did something similar to Hamilton at this circuit last year, or I can't remember previous years. I forget, to be honest with you. But yeah, but there's big upgrades on that car. There's big upgrades on the Astons. I'm intrigued to see if the Astons make any progression here. This has always been a circuit that's gone quite well for them. So we'll see what happens with him, with Stroll and Alonso. Can't work today due to a bug. Ah. Well, at least you've had Friday off. Get well soon, buddy. I improved so much in my F23 game after watching my videos. Really? Oh, pleasure. Because I don't race the F23 game, so it's nice to see that things are translatable across different sims. I think time management will cause the teams to and hold on to drivers longer. Yeah, this is a race for... I mean, is it going to be wet this weekend? What is the weather report for this weekend, guys? Has anyone seen it? Like in one hand is aggravating. So I got fed up and ran out of time. Oh, Leclerc stopped. Uh-oh, Leclerc has stopped. Has he crashed? Has Leclerc crashed? Oh no, I haven't got my... Oh, there's a red flag. Has Leclerc binned it? That is a... Now, that is a corner. Turn 4 is a corner where we've seen drivers go very fast through the left-hander and lose it. Has Leclerc binned it? I haven't got my TV coverage up. Oh no, Leclerc fans, Ferrari fans. What has he done? What has he done? What has Charles Leclerc done? Is he lost control of the car, or is it just something else? I'm trying to see. We are checking. Got the TV coverage up. Haven't got to. Oh, he's binned it. Oh, he's binned it. I've literally loaded up my TV coverage, and he's lost it through turn 4. Looks like he might have got away with it. He's lost the front. Oh, he's lost the front left side of his whole wing. Has he broken the front left suspension? So he's had a big snap out of turn 4, which we have seen drivers lose it there in the past. There is quite a big dip with the curb as they come through that corner. And the front end just went left on him, and he went into... Leclerc is out of the car, guys, so he is okay. But it depends on the front left side of that car, the front end, to see if he has damaged it. Has he broken the front suspension? The front left side of the front wing is off. It's gone. It's a goner. He's viewing the car now. Let's see exactly what he's done. I always support the Brits, Brab. Norris, Russell, Hamilton. But yeah, that red flag's been brought out to ensure that they can remove that car. I'm still waiting to see a replay. All right, here we go. Replay. So running up to turn 4, very fast left-hander, the kink. Yeah, he's run too far over. Oh, so he's run too far over the curb on the right hand side. The car's bottomed out, and then it's gone left on him. Front right, it just went. Oh my god, that was a massive hit. Oh my god, I didn't realize how much of a big hit that was. The whole left side. He actually hit the whole left side. It wasn't just the front. Oh, he went rear first into the car. Oh, so he might have damaged the whole left side of that car. The rear left and the front left. I didn't realise the rear actually hit the barrier first. I wouldn't surprise me if he's broken the suspension on the left, on the whole left side there, the front and the rear. Leclerc is fine. Yeah, he's fine. He's out of the car. That was a massive spin. The car really went, it did a full 360. The rear hit, it went left rear into the wall first, and then the front left came back round like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's broken the front left. So the front left and the rear left suspension. We'll see. Maybe even, I mean, it was a fair old whack. There would have been a few G's in that crash there. So it might have done some internal damage to the gearbox as well. So not ideal. FP2, so that'll be Leclerc out of the remainder of this FP2 session, guys, which has brought out the red flag if you're just joining us. So yeah, not great, but that is the risk. I mean, it's a very fast corner through turn 4. It is just a slight kink, either a slight lift or a downshift through there, and it's very easy to just run a bit too wide, and that's what he's done. There's like a lip. There's a lip with the curb, with the green curb on the outside, and it's quite severe. And that's what Charles has done. The right rear went over that. The rear of the car bottomed out, and it sent him into a spin. So, will he drive tomorrow? Yeah, he'll drive tomorrow, Taylor. It just depends, like, if he has to take any penalties and stuff for new parts. But yeah, the front left wing is off. I can't see. The front left actually looks to be intact. It looks like it might have got away without damage to the front suspension. I can't see the rear suspension. I mean, the wheel is still attached. It just depends on on yeah, on if there's anything done to those wishbones. So, what is my subscriber goal for the end of the year, Charlie? So where are we? We're in July. 27,406. I'd love to be at 40,000. I'd love to be at 40,000, but that's a big push. It is a big push between now and the end of the year. But yeah, that'd be amazing to be at 40,000. I think we started the year at just below 15,000. So we've nearly doubled our subscriber count for the year, and we're just over halfway through. So yeah, big thank you to everyone who's subscribed and tunes into these watch-alongs and my sim racing content as well. Big thank you. Is it really severe? No, it doesn't look as severe as the first fall. It looks like he might have got away with it, but obviously keep tuned into the Twitter pages and stuff. They'll show you how much damage he's incurred. No doubt Ferrari will announce it shortly. Who crashed? Charles Leclerc. You can see there he's greyed out. He's greyed out through turn 4. Dipped the wheel over the lip of the curb through turn 4. It's very treacherous for that corner. It's so inviting though. Such a fast corner, so inviting. But yeah, dipping a wheel there has cost him quite dearly, and he's out of this FP2 session. The car will be drivable tomorrow. Yeah, they'll get it repaired. Hey Leo, I'm good, thank you. You? When I think about Aston Martin, Naveen, very much underperformed this year, haven't they? They've underperformed quite considerably. They've got a big upgrade package here this weekend. 8 new updates on the car. So we'll see if they have any improvements. But Aston Martin and Mercedes use the same wind tunnel. Now, there's been a theory proposed by Matt Trumpets on the Missed Apex podcast, who thinks that the initial underperformance of the Mercedes and the Aston Martin was because of them having issues with the data they've been gathering from the wind tunnel. It's just not been effective in translating onto the actual circuit. But we've seen improvements from Mercedes, haven't we, over the last few races? So it'd be interesting to see with this big upgrade package, or I'm going to call it an update package, it's not an upgrade until it works, to see if they actually perform and have that same trend upwards that Mercedes have just had here this weekend. So yeah, but overall they've definitely underperformed. You can't deny that, can you? Yes, Red Bull have a big upgrade package, updates package here this weekend as well, Rav. Yeah, finally not Sargent for once. There's still 36 minutes left of this session, Charlie. And FP3 and qualifying and the race. I'm sorry, Logie fans. I'm sorry. Will this be a copy of Silverstone? No, I don't think so. Will it be a copy of Silverstone? I mean, the weather has got potential to be. I haven't checked the weather report, guys. If someone wants to give us a weather report of the Hungaroring this weekend. I think Hamilton's got a great chance of winning. Do I think more manufacturers for F1 will make F1 better? Yes, I think so. I think having more manufacturers is better because it then means that it could entice more teams on the grid. I still don't think obviously that's going to happen with the blocking of Andretti, but yeah, I think having more manufacturers on it because it means more chance of there being competitiveness. Because if more manufacturers on the grid rather than say independent teams, they're more likely to operate at the top of the cost cap. And have the money to be able to invest into F1 and to invest into those teams and hopefully make the racing closer, which is what we all want to see. So, hey Gary, did I hear about FA clamping down on flexi front wing and Spa onwards? I reckon Mercedes McLaren are going to be slow. I did see that, yeah. I don't know if that's. I think the flexi wing is not the sole reason why Mercedes and McLaren have been performing well. Yeah, I don't think so whatsoever. But supposedly they've been passing the tests. So Red Bull have raised the issue, but supposedly McLaren and Mercedes have been passing the tests that have been in place for it. So yeah, we'll see. But I don't think that's. I think there's more to it than for McLaren and Mercedes increasing performance to catching up to Red Bull. But you can see now Red Bull are kind of going back to their old games of because that gap has closed, they're now looking at other teams and looking at potentially what they may be doing wrong, as per the spirit of the regulations. So yeah, they obviously want to still maintain that advantage, and now that gap's closing up. When we haven't had that the last few years, have we? We haven't had anything of anyone really protesting or raising concerns over parts on cars. And now, as soon as the gap's closing, oh, look who the team is who's now bringing up those issues. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. Younger drivers will be better. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's good to see Ollie Behrman on the grid next year. We really need Liam Lawson on the grid in some capacity. I don't think it should be in Red Bull, the Red Bull's main seats. Fair play if it is, but I think part of their academy and as part of their system anymore. And they've probably just kept him on because they didn't want to let him go somewhere else. Or maybe Yuki's team thought, well, there's no other seat really available for him at the moment elsewhere on the grid. Let's keep him there. And then something might change at the end of 2025. So, what do I think about the Hungaria circuit? I like it. I do like it. I think it's a track that, while of course there's very limited areas to overtake, it's a track where tyre management really comes into play. The overtaking down into turn 1 has always provided some good moments, and we've seen overtakes down into turn 2 as well. The weather is always kind of very similar to how it is in the UK. It can either be super hot, which lends itself into increased strategy options, the 1-stop, the 2-stop. We've seen some great chases here in the past, and yeah, you really have to plot your way around this circuit to try and outmaneuver drivers and position them for a move down into turn 1 or into turn 2. So yeah, I like it. I think he's always provided good races. So I feel like Charles sold his soul for Monaco. Yeah, but I think if you would have offered him the Monaco win at the start of the season, if you offered him the Monaco win at the start of the season and he would win any other race for the rest of the year, I still think Leclerc probably would have taken it because of how far back the performance of the Ferrari was on the Red Bull. So yeah, whoever take it be better without DRS in 2026. It all depends how much dirty air is provided by the new regs, Leo, and also depends on how suitable this active aero is and how it's implemented. So hopefully, because we want to see more wheel-to-wheel racing rather than just getting into the 1 second range and using that DRS to assist in the passing. So I did one last night, Suresh. Didn't go too well. But yeah, it definitely is more on the way. Who will win this weekend according to me? I said earlier on, I'm still backing Lewis. I just got a feeling. But I do think we're going to see the two Mercedes, Lando and Verstappen, fighting out for the win. Maybe the Ferraris can throw a spanner in the works, but I just do think that they're behind in performance at the moment to Mercedes, Norris and Red Bull. I mean, it's crazy how it's kind of switched up this year, isn't it? But session will resume at 32 minutes past, guys, so that is in less than 2 minutes' time. Whereas, in an alternate reality, Fanatec, in an alternate reality, how do I feel about the race? Will it be as interesting as Silverstone? I think it'll be good. I think we're in for an intriguing weekend. I think we are. That's all good. He will need to back up his ideas next season. Lewis Hamilton brings different sort of pressure, dog besties or not. Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how that dynamic plays out with Charles and Lewis. Yeah, I'm very interested to see. So yeah, if you're just joining us, Charles Leclerc binned it out of turn 4, guys. He dipped a wheel over the curb out of turn 4 and yeah, sent the car into a spin and yeah, lost most of his front wing, and he's quite lucky to, I think, get away with suspension damage. I couldn't see any on the images of this car being removed from the circuit, but who knows. So yeah, he may have got away with one there quite luckily. But yeah, he's out of this practice session. Don't presume he's going to get back in the car with only 28 minutes remaining. So yeah, that's why we had the red flag. How was Goodwood Festival, Camille? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Goodwood Festival was so good. Seeing the V8s and hearing the V8s and the V10s and the V12s of the F1 cars were just, like music to my ears. So good. Loved it. And just being able to get up so close to some really expensive cars, yeah, it was great. I'm going to be going again next year, that's for sure. There's so much on offer, and it's a great day out. I highly recommend it to anyone who gets an opportunity to go. How long to the race resume? Right on cue, Omar. Green light, pit exit open, FP2 is back underway after we had Charles Leclerc bring out the red flag for around 10-15 minutes. So George Russell out on the softs. Let's see if Lewis Hamilton goes out on a set of softs as well. He is. So are we going to see some quali runs here halfway through, or just over halfway through this FP2 session? Hulkenberg also on softs. Interesting. So, thoughts on Logan Sargent's future? He doesn't have one. In F1. He'll probably go to sports cars. IMSA. He'll go to like IMSA or something, I think. Will he go IndyCar? Maybe someone will give him an opportunity in IndyCar. I don't know. I don't think so. I think more so sports cars is where we'll end up in IMSA. And then World Endurance Championship. Been a couple of weeks since you last joined, Freddie. Hey, you went to your first F1 race at Silverstone. Oh, nice one, man. I bet that was wicked. What a race to go to for your first experience, eh? Indy, apparently. Is that the rumours, Aaron? Yeah, he'll go to some sort of racing over in America. I'd like to see that, actually. Because I'd like to see if he performs better in Indy. I mean, it's another open wheel car. Obviously different style of racing, but will he do well there? Happy the GOAT got the win. I think lots of people were, Freddie, myself included. So maybe he'll join the McLaren revolving door. Yeah, what's this, Andy? But I mean, I need to read up on it, but there was a statement put out by Teo Porchet, wasn't there? Between him and something to do with him and Tony Kanaan, and an article. He said his words were taken out of context. I kind of flicked through it, and then my Twitter page reloaded. So Tony Kanaan said he had like a conversation with him off the phone. So how's FP2 going? A bit boring at the moment, to be honest with you. Charles Leclerc threw in a good lap. A good crash for us. But let's keep an eye on George Russell, shall we? It's lots of people out there on the softs now. Lewis Hamilton also out on the softs. Let's keep an eye on their lap times and let's see what they can do, shall we? Ocon gets out of the way of Hamilton. So Hamilton slightly quicker in the first sector compared to Russell. So Lewis Hamilton, this is his second most successful circuit that he's raced at. 8 wins he currently has, Lewis Hamilton. Wow, Nico Hulkenberg fastest in the first sector. 28.1 from the Hulk. George Russell fastest in the middle, so 2 tenths quicker than Lewis Hamilton. As they come through the very slow last sector. Need to be careful on throttle for it. And there's a yellow flag as Zhou Guanyu has lost it at the same corner but Charles Leclerc did earlier on in this session. He's crawling. Zhou, has he got away with a crash as Russell and Hamilton went to the top of the timing sheets on the set of softs? Zhou is crawling, but I think Zhou has fallen victim to the same mistake that Charles Leclerc made. Let's see. As the TV coverage is currently on board with George Russell. But let's see what happened with Zhou. I mean, he is going, he is moving. Maybe he got away and moved. He spun the car away from the wall rather than into it. Just waiting for the TV coverage. Come on, surely it's got to be up right now. It was about here that the yellow flag came out. Come on. TV coverage so far behind. Nico should deserve at least a Mercedes seat. I think he'd do a fair job. Nico, I underestimated him. I wasn't too happy about him coming back into the sport, but boy have I been proved wrong. Boy have I been proved wrong. So they've got yellow flag. They just watched George Russell. They're now going to the crowd. Oh, God, poor TV direction. Are you going to show a replay? So they've just completely missed Zhou's spin. Norris flying, yes, 17-7. Oof. Charles Leclerc binned it through turn 4, and I'm just waiting to see Zhou Guanyu and see the replay of him going. I mean, they still haven't shown it. This is very poor TV direction right now. Here we go. So, Zhou Guanyu heading up to turn 4 through the kink. Let's see exactly what happens. Signs up to P2. And he did the same thing as Charles Leclerc. Oh my God, he spun straight in front of Perez, I think it was. He spun straight in front of a Red Bull. He claims the Red Bull. What was the Red Bull doing? I don't think that was his issue. Is that Perez? Who was that? Was that Verstappen? He literally spun straight in front of Perez. Oh my God. That could have been so bad. I mean, he's blaming Perez, but Zhou's the one who made the mistake. Perez just went, oh shit. But he got away with it. He didn't spin into the wall. He spun kind of forward. But yeah. TV coverage more invested in Union Jacks in the crowd than a spin. It was shocking, Warren. Shocking. I don't know why they waited so long to show that. But yes, let's jump back to the timing sheets. Norris 17.7, Sainz in P2, Perez P3 after narrowly avoiding Zhou's spin. Russell 4th, Magnussen 5th, interesting. Hamilton in 6th. So very interesting track this, guys, where you really do need to prep your tyres properly. So if you haven't got temperature in the tyres, then you're going to be some way off the pace. And I suspect that's the case of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, is that they didn't prep them well enough. Of course, we also don't know what fuel loads they're running, engine mode, etc. There's so many things that teams can do to hide their true pace. But that's a good lap time from Norris. Good lap time. Ericsson hit us again. Perez gets dropped to V-carb and Ricciardo gets the seat. I think that's more likely. Yeah, I think that's more likely, Merc. I mean, I understand that there's been talk about Lawson getting that seat. And I think if anyone out of that whole system deserves the seat at the moment, it's Yuki, but I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. Pains me to say. Time's thriving in the new Ferrari, and he pulled Una reverse card after Monaco. Well, he's had his ups and downs, hasn't he? Sainz. He hasn't been completely good since the start of this season. There was a point where it looked like, yeah, he's proving people wrong, as Verstappen goes fastest in the middle sector out of anyone. Although he's 13th fastest in the first sector. See if he makes up the time in the last. And goes top at the moment. His teammate owns the fastest last sector. As he comes across the finish line and goes P2. 2.5 tenths back from Lando Norris. And he was only 6th fastest in the last sector. So, Mercedes bought some big upgrades. No, Mercedes didn't, Georgian. They've only got one update, so. Firefox not blurred. Glad Perez seems to be doing better. But yeah, hope you've been enjoying this watch along stream, guys. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. 66 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 100. And if you're just joining us, well, this practice session, not too much to talk about other than two big moments of Charles Leclerc, who lost it through turn 4 and binned it. So that's why he's currently down in 18th position, and his marker is on the circuit there in very small, just past turn 4 and in between turn 5. And then Zhou had a spin at the same corner and narrowly avoided Sergio Perez, but avoided the barrier. So he's down there in the pit lane at the moment, and he's bottom of your timing sheets. But yeah, other than that, not really too much to write home about. Any overperformers? Well, Yuki Tsunoda only done the medium run at the moment. He hasn't done any softs. Everyone's run a set of softs, other than Leclerc, of course, who is out of this session, and Yuki, who's in the pit lane at the moment, which is a bit intriguing. So, seems like temperature is not getting any better. No, it was 60 degrees earlier on. 60. That's unbelievable how hot that was. Unbelievable. Merc have a new diffuser and a few revisions to the underfloor. Did they have some revisions to the underfloor? I know it was something to do with the diffuser. Will Leclerc be able to do FP2? This is FP2. FP3 is tomorrow, so yes, most likely he'll make it for FP3, yeah. Yeah, they'll be able to repair that car in time, that's for sure. I think he looks like it was a very high-speed crash and quite a whack into the wall, but I think he's got away with it. Lucky to get away with as much damage as he did, so. V-car falling off the order, they started off strong. Yeah, their updates have definitely not had the desired effect, have they? They had a big update package not too long ago, didn't they? And they actually went backwards in the timing sheets compared to others, so. Will he be able to join today? No, his time is over and done with today. Yeah, so. Right, so lots of drivers in the pit lane. No one else really coming out at the moment. So we've had the top 9 there. You can see do some quali runs with just a single lap. You can see that Oscar Piastri also did the same, down in 13th position. Logan Sargent actually ahead of Oscar Piastri. Intriguing. Charles, put yourself together. Gasly better than Ocon? I'd say they're quite similar in performance, to be fair. I think they're very similar drivers. I don't think either or has really outperformed the other, have they? What's the most interesting thing about this training? Do I think so? The most interesting thing about, I mean, it's difficult to tell. It's difficult to tell because I think these drivers have had so I think these teams have really had their run plans interrupted. So they would have most likely been looking to get some long run information, which I think that would have been the case because you can see that Verstappen. So I mean, look, the majority of drivers who were on the medium, they were like 6, 5, 7 laps into a run, and then Charles Leclerc brought out the red flag. So they came out onto a set of softs to do just like a single flying lap, and who knows what relative pace drivers have here at the moment. Of course, Lando's considerably quicker, but we don't know engine modes. We don't know how much battery was used, how much fuel was used. It's really annoying practice sessions in that regard. And then, yeah, it seems like Norris is back out on the hards to get some long run data. And no doubt, I think that's what we're going to get from the rest of the teams now as Sainz, yeah, out on the mediums. Let's see who else is going to come out as well. Is Ocon really going to Haas? Pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much an open secret that he's signed with Haas. Yeah. Checo needs to put his boots for the next half of the season, not only for himself, but also for construction. He needs to put his boots on for this weekend and next weekend. Because I think there's a very high possibility he will not be in that Red Bull seat come the end of the summer break. So, do I think Jack Doohan could be a dark horse, or did the accident 2 years ago change Doohan's run compared to Sargent? I have come back and reopened conversations with him about potentially just a single year in F1. Or maybe longer, depending, I reckon, if they could get Max Verstappen or not. So, because they've gone back on promoting Antonelli next year. So I think a lot of it depends on what Sainz does. I think if Sainz doesn't sign for Alpine, I think Doohan will get promoted, yes. Can Mercedes win a ninth Constructors? They can do. I don't think it'll be this year, though. Don't think Mercedes can get a Constructors. No, exactly. Believe Mercedes can get these good points. Yeah, I think, look, the Constructors is still open. Max at the moment is just gaining all the points for Red Bull. Perez is like, obviously we know how Perez has been performing. But yeah, the Constructors I still think is a little bit up for grabs. I think Ferrari are just ahead of McLaren at the moment, or maybe McLaren are now second. But yeah, the Constructors is still very interesting and could change by the end of the season. Especially, I mean, that's the thing. Do Red Bull want to win the Constructors? If they want to win the Constructors, then they need to swap out Perez. So, can there be a double podium this GP? Yeah, I think if I was going to say double podium anywhere, I think Mercedes. Red Bull falling off the order. I want to boldly say that. Well, I think most people can agree that. I wouldn't say they've necessarily fallen off the order. I just think they've been caught. I think other teams have done better in catching them, and a lot sooner than we thought they were going to. And I think that Verstappen is definitely getting more out of that car. Well, he's evidently getting more out of it than Perez, but he's really showing what a good driver can do. And he's dragging that car to the front of the grid. Whereas if it was in like anyone kind of, I say anyone else's hands, not anyone else's, but like a midfield driver's hands, it would be struggling to finish in the top 5, I think. I mean, we're seeing that with Perez. So if you put it in, say, let's say you put that other Red Bull, let's say you put Max Verstappen's Red Bull in the hands of Magnussen, Ocon, or Gasly. No disrespect to them, but I don't think they'd get the performances that Max is getting out of that car. I think McLaren has a decent chance at constructors having 2 well-performing drivers scoring. Yes, I think McLaren are probably the best bet for constructors at the moment. But obviously Perez in IndyCar. He's bringing a lot of money to IndyCar, that's for sure. A lot of backing, isn't he? Red Bull 1-2. If the other seat wasn't Perez. Verstappen said that the car can't do 101% every weekend, so maybe he cannot be out to optimal pace for pole. Yeah, he did say he can't keep this up every week. I think it was it? It wasn't Imola. I think it was Canada. And he said, yeah, I can't do this every week. What about Norris and Lewis? Yeah, I think they'll be on. I think they could be in the top 3. Max always scoring most of the points of constructors. Is very close to combined points of both McLaren. So constructors is open for grabs. I agree. Yes, constructors is still up for grabs. If Ferrari can get their act together and drag themselves back up towards the front, then, I mean, look, they could be quite comfortably in the lead right now if they didn't screw up Charles Leclerc over the last few races. Canada, you finish outside the points. Austria was outside the points. Silverstone outside the points. So, like he said, 3 out of the last 5 races where he's finished outside the points. That's shocking. Give you a shout out, Varsh? Of course I can. There you go. Predict race win battle between Norris and Hamilton on last lap when Lewis overtakes. Yeah, look, who knows what's going to happen this weekend. I think it's just so good that we're going into each weekend with all these different scenarios in our head of what could happen, rather than just, Max is going to, doesn't matter where he starts, he's going to win by 20 seconds, you know? Russell's usually better pace than Hamilton. He just usually makes mistakes. I disagree, actually. I think Russell has the pace in qualifying over Lewis, but I think Lewis has the race pace over George. Which has kind of been this, I mean, it's crazy to say because Lewis has like the most pole positions out of anyone, but Lewis has been beaten quite comfortably by teammates in the past over a single lap. Nico Rosberg, Valtteri Bottas, like. He has, like, Nico Rosberg beat him quite a lot of times, actually, to pole position, if memory serves me right. And Russell is now beating him comfortably in qualifying as well. And look, the first time Lewis Hamilton starts on the front row and he wins a race. So if he can sort out his qualifying, and even if he's second best to his teammate, he's always going to be there for the win. Russell's got the tyre management Lewis has, which, to be fair, Lewis is go at. Totally agree, Mike. Yep. Definitely the tyre whisperer. You won your GP Tour split last night. Hey, well done, OG. P1 lap G, but your steering wheel broke. Well, look, exactly. Like George Russell in Austria, you need to be there to reap the rewards and just soak it up, you know. Got really surprised you got to pronounce my name. Well, Varsh. Varsh for short, you know, it's a lot easier. Perez at least needs to come in top 5, 6 every time so Red Bull can win constructors. Yeah, exactly. And do we see Perez doing that? Finishing in the top 5, 6 every race? I don't. I do think Perez is going to be out of his seat. I think they've already made a decision. I think it's like a Daniel Ricciardo type situation again with Nick De Vries, you know. I think they've already made a decision. And it'll be all over Netflix Drive to Survive next year. I agree, Aaron. I agree. That guy should have got a VRS wheel. So you do like that they're struggling because of the intense track temps. Yes. I mean, what are their lap times like? So Lewis is now doing some long runs on the softs. It is known, of course, that Mercedes do like the cooler track temperatures, and it can be the case of just a degree cooler can be the difference between them being in a good window and not. But I don't know. I'm intrigued to see. We haven't really seen them race in these sort of conditions since they've made the improvements they've had. So it's going to be a hot weekend. I think that's like, even if it's raining, it's going to be hot. So we'll see. I'm intrigued to see if they've sorted that issue out with the updates that have clearly had a desired effect. That was Mercedes of old, say 5-6 races ago, but I'm not sure if that'll be the Mercedes now. G920 going strong. Solid will, that. Solid will. Can indeed, Murray. Can indeed. Lewis was never great in quality. Not bad, of course, but like in F2, he had pole once. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lewis always was kind of always full about the large picture, isn't he? Have I had some dropped frames? That's interesting. I had some drop frames in the past, did I? Apologies if that came through, guys. Bottas retirement, Stroll sat, Perez demoted, Alonso moves, Sainz goes to a different format of racing. Well, Magnussen's been confirmed to be leaving Haas, and I don't think there's another place for him on the grid, is there? Defoe, thank you for the sub. Thank you, buddy. And anyone else who subbed in the meantime, much appreciated. The Jade Monkey, and yeah, if it doesn't come up as an alert, sometimes it doesn't come up as an alert on YouTube, so yeah, big thank you. Yeah, there's a few drivers who need to kind of move on, don't they? We're not sure if Zhou Guanyu is going to be on the grid next year. If Zhou Guanyu's on the grid next year, we know why. Because he's got a lot of that. When he manages to tie best on race, they'll have a huge advantage. When he manages the best are Max, McLaren's, and Hamilton. I would say Max, Lando, and Hamilton. That's what I would say. However, Lando didn't manage his tyres very well in the last stint at Silverstone last time out. So Lando is much better than Oscar on managing tyres. But yeah, Max and Lewis are very good at that. And all the greats have been very good at managing tyres. So what happened to Jay? He had a big spin. So his quali run was affected by his big spin through turn 4. He blamed it on Perez. I don't think he can blame it on Perez, but Mag definitely deserves a seat. You've got to support your boys, Blue. You've got to support your own. I get it. I think he's going back to sports car, though. I think he's going to go back to IMSA and he'll go back to like the World Endurance Championship, which he was good in and he was successful in. Declare out, well, yeah. It's funny, isn't it, how everyone was like, and I myself included was like, oh, do you know what? Leclerc's only 26 points behind Max Verstappen after Monaco. That's only like, he can chip away at that. He can definitely chip away at that. And then 5 races later, he's like got almost like 3 DNFs, finishing outside the points. Just completely out of it now. It's just like, oh, God, honestly. Hopefully more F2 drivers get their turn, maybe 4 new drivers. Yeah, I do think there comes a point where you have to look at youth, you have to look at the talent that's coming through. Like, I know people have said that Antonelli being promoted would be potentially too soon and risky. But how refreshing would it be to have Ollie Behrman on the grid, Antonelli, Liam Lawson, who was only on the grid for, what, 5 races? Some youngsters coming through and some fresh talent. And they are definitely talented drivers, rather than drivers who have overstayed their welcome. Teo Porcher going to get a seat? No, I don't think so. I don't think Teo's going to get a seat. But the only way Teo gets a seat is if he's a reserve. Is he a reserve driver for anyone at the moment, Teo Porcher? Is he Aston Martin's reserve driver still? Or is that no, that's Felipe Drogovic, sorry. But the only way I think he's going to be a reserve driver is get an opportunity if he's a reserve driver and he's able to compete in a race weekend or a couple of race weekends and take that opportunity and be put into the conversation. But yeah, I don't think he's going to get that now. Hey, Connie. How early can Max win the drivers? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not doing the Spa 24 hours Vectrix. No, I'm busy this weekend with the watch-alongs and family stuff. So, who's funding Joe? I don't know who particularly is funding Joe, but some Chinese companies. Supposedly, Joe brings with him 30 million. 30 million is what Joe brings with him. Now, that's not necessarily like paid, but it means that he brings 30 million in sponsorship deals and commercial opportunities. And of course, he's the. You think how big of a country China is? The reason why film companies and stuff tailor their posters and films to be suitable for a Chinese market and audience. It's so big. And yeah, F1, Liberty Media would definitely want Joe to still be on the grid, which is why I think he will still be on the grid. Some drivers are good, but they get bottlenecked by their car. Yeah, true. What should we expect for FP runs tomorrow? I expect drivers probably... It depends what the conditions are going to be like, doesn't it? I expect we'll see... we're getting some long runs now. I think we'll see some... we haven't really seen the hard tyre used, have we? So maybe some drivers will use the hard tyre to try and get some data on that. And then I think, obviously, of course, they'll be prepping for quali. Yeah, look, practice sessions aren't always the most exciting, Georgian. These are just an opportunity, really, for myself to have a chat with you all. For us to come together and, yeah, talk things through. But practice is practice. It's never really that exciting, so... Don't know how much, but more than 20 crew gives boring racing as it's too quick. Maybe if the pits are slower, overtaking will happen more exciting. Yeah, sorry, who said that about limiting the drivers, the crew to 6? Mike, what do I think restricting pit stops to only 6 mechanics? I don't know. I think the nature of F1 pit stops being so quick is like still very appealing. That's what a lot of people remember F1 for as well. And we want F1 to be kind of like the best in motorsport, don't we? So they have the best pit stops, the quickest pit stops, they're the quickest car. I don't know. It goes into that whole image and that mantra of this is the quickest motorsport. So I like seeing the qualifying pace in FP2. Yeah, we haven't really seen it though. We had one lap. This track is very much so qualifying tomorrow is prepping your tyres is going to be very, very key. Now we've seen qualifying sessions in the last few races where teams have left it very late for their drivers to come out. And Oscar Piastri, one of them, Charles Leclerc, of course, didn't even get a lap in the sprint qualifying. But drivers have had their final lap compromised by being left out waited too long to go out. They're not able to properly prep their tyres, and they screw up. Haven't got the grip to be able to set an optimal lap time. So Hungaroring is definitely a circuit where you need that grip. And need that front end. So yeah, if they don't do that, then like in these practice sessions, I assume Hamilton and Russell probably didn't have the most ideal prep. Of course, we might see drivers tomorrow do 2 out laps, 2 warm-up laps rather than just the 1. What we saw from Mercedes there might be them a clear indication, but they need to do 2 out laps tomorrow, 2 warm-up laps rather than just a single one compared to maybe the Red Bull of Verstappen and the McLaren of Norris. Hey, King. It's only a matter of time when Max wins the 4th title and not who wins the title. Yeah, I mean, the title's wrapped up. Barring Red Bull going through a miracle of DNFs, the title is wrapped up. Fewer mechanics actually make it more dangerous, in your opinion. Yeah, I mean, the tyres are very big as well, aren't they? You have to think that the tyres are massive. Taking those off and putting them on, like it's a 2-man job to take it off and put it on. So yeah, just gone 2 AM in your quiz and much love. Oh, thanks, Husk. Yeah, thanks for staying up, buddy. Get some well-needed rest. We'll be live for FP3 tomorrow, and of course qualifying in the afternoon. So it should be an interesting weekend, and this will be attached. Hopefully the audio's been okay. This will be attached tomorrow. Feels very odd holding my microphone. Norris has some trouble getting into the pits, is he? Did he? Well, the drivers now are coming round to the start grid. They're going to do their start practice for tomorrow. But let's have a look at the time. So Norris P1 with a 17.7. Verstappen with a P2, 2.5 tenths behind Sainz in third, Perez fourth, Russell fifth, Magnussen sixth, Hamilton seventh, Ricciardo eighth, Albon ninth, Alonso 10th, Bottas 11th, Sargent 12th, Piastri 13th, Ocon 14th, Hulkenberg 15th, Gasly 16th, Stroll 17th, Leclerc, who crashed it and binned in the wall, 18th. Interesting, Yuki Tsunoda potentially struggling in this FP2 session. Something not quite right there with that car. He had very limited running. How much running did he actually have? I imagine that was probably the same set of tyres. So wow, Yuki probably only did about 8.6. I mean, he did less than 20 laps, didn't he? Less than 15 laps. So not very good for Yuki Tsunoda. Zhou Guanyu got some long runs in, but yeah, his quali lap was compromised from that spin into turn 4. How are the Mercs looking? So-so. I mean, I didn't really pay too much attention in regards to long runs. It was quite an interrupted session with the spin of Zhou and, of course, the crash, the red flag from Charles Leclerc. But who knows? Who knows at the moment, to be honest with you. We'll see. Thanks, Carl. Now I need a mic stand sponsor. I just need to secure it again. I just need to, yeah. I just ran out of time. It was wobbling all over the place and I got frustrated with it. Soft tyres would be useful only in qualifying, not in the actual race weekend. I agree, Arnold. Yeah, soft tyres not really come into play here unless we've got a safety car that comes out, which we have seen in the past at Hungaroring. But yeah, normally it's like the hard and medium compound tyre, I think, from memory. Thanks, Oscar. I'm going to go top up. Yeah, I'm going to go refill my beer in a second. But yeah, that is it, guys. That is basically that is the end of FP1. Daniel Ricciardo looking good in 8th. Yeah, so I won't take too much into things into this. I mean, Norris the only driver to get below a 118. It's quite hot. Well, track temperature's cooling slightly, 41.6 now. It was sitting around 44 for most of this session. 60 degrees it was earlier. So yeah, who knows? It could be a very hot weekend here at the Hungaroring. Could be a wet one as well. Don't know what the weather forecast is like. Hard tyre looks quite slow here too. Might actually be a 2-stop with medium stints. Actually, yes. Now you've jogged my memory, Warren. You've jogged my memory. So last year, or was it the year before? I think it was last year, or it might have been the year before. The hard compound tyre. Do we remember there was that data, wasn't there? I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Alpines were on the hards, and quite evidently it was going like that. It just wasn't the tyre. Too slow. Ferrari could see that and they still put them onto the hard tyre and they were very slow. So yeah, it was a medium, wasn't it? Medium soft. I think that was the ideal strap. Maybe that's the case again here this weekend. So maybe we'll see the hard compound tyre used tomorrow in that last practice session, maybe just to determine that. They have been in the past, Arnold. They have been in the past. But last year, I think, was different. Or the year before, I really can't remember. I mean, it's normally a mix. Well, the great thing about this track is that it's right on the precipice of being, do we go for a one-stop and eke out the tyres? Or do we go for that aggressive two-stop? And that's what has always provided good drama at this circuit. Plus a sprinkle of rain every now and then as well. Who remembers that year Ocon won and Lewis Hamilton was the only driver to restart, wasn't he, on the grid on the intermediates when everyone came in for slicks. Kevin Madison putting that Haas 6th is impressive. Yeah, not too bad from Magnussen. Tomorrow clouds. Is that what it says, Marianne? Just clouds. Interesting. Well, guys, that is it. Not the most interesting of practice sessions. Of course, we saw that Charles Leclerc lost it. I'm sure his car will be repaired in enough time for tomorrow. Looked like he got away with it. It was a pretty big whack. Go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. Over 100 likes as well. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for FP3 in the morning, 11:30 UK time. And then 3 o'clock in the afternoon UK time also is when the qualifying is on. So thanks, Hosk. Yes, spread the word. Spread the word. But yeah, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We had a few subs today, so big thank you to everyone who was subbed. And yeah, we'll be more prepped for tomorrow's sessions, that is for sure. What happened to Oscar Piastri? Not really sure. Not really sure, to be honest with you. He didn't really, maybe his lap got, I mean, look, Hungaroring is a very tight circuit, so maybe his qualifying lap got, got compromised by traffic, which is why he's down in 13th. But yeah, he looked all right. So we'll see. The true barometer will be, of course, qualifying. Even tomorrow, intriguing to see. No doubt drivers will do quali runs tomorrow as well. They might do some proper prep laps also, if there's no interruption to qualifying, that is. So thanks, Neil. Yeah, thanks, James. Poor old luck continue. Well, it wasn't so much luck. It was just he ran out of talent through turn 4. Just saying, it was driver error. He had no one else to blame. So mechanical issues for Piastri plus 4 damage. Really, Warren? How did he? Yeah, see, I haven't got my Sky headphone in. My Sky headphone. I haven't got the Sky TV commentary on in my headphones. I finished work and jumped straight onto this. So I had enough time to pour myself a beer, and that was it. But yeah, everyone have a lovely rest of your evening. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Look, looks like the Missed Apex Championship has been cancelled for this evening, which is a shame. But is what it is. So that'll be moved to a different day. If iRacing comes back online, may do the F1 race this evening again. We'll see. But yeah, have a lovely rest of your Friday evening, guys. Turn your notifications on, and we'll catch you tomorrow for FP3. Love ya. Bye.